Hello everyone, ItzzDivinity here, and today with a new episode of my series called Mage Approach 2. This time around we're going to be talking about a Other Side 18 that I did this week. So before we go, these are the fixes, right? We have Spiteful, we have Volcanic, Prideful, and of course Fortified. So it's a really good week to do your keys, right? So that's why I've been pushing quite a lot this week as well. But yeah, before we go into the video, these are my talents and my conduit setup. So you can see what I'm running for most of my Mythic Plus. But yeah, without any further ado, let's head into the video and see how it's all gonna go. Yeah, basically how it's gonna go, right? So at the start, I always know we are always pulling everything at the beginning together with Bloodlust, especially on Fortified weeks. So what we're gonna do there, right, is gonna use all our cooldowns. I hoped and see myself use mirror images before I use combustion to just not get that threat if it's going to be an issue. So no, I don't actually do that. So I actually go instantly into combustion. I should have actually just used mirror images just to, if I would have get an aggro, right, that the mirror images were going to get hit instead of me, so I would lose out on aggro. So that was actually really good. I think this opener, right, like I managed to get every single Fire Blast, Phoenix Flames in together with my full Phoenix Flame, so shifting power during my combustion, which is really great. So now we're just finishing everything up, and we're going to the next platform. Since these are Spiteful, we just ignore them, and we just rush towards the other side. And as you can see how strong Flame Patch actually is, right? It's almost the same amount of damage as Flame Strike itself. So that speaker has an ability, which is called Death's Embrace, that you can spell steal. The moment you spell steal this, you gain an insane amount of haste buff. And yeah, it's so strong. So I always recommend you to, as the group, do not interrupt this ability. Do not interrupt Death's Embrace, right? Since the mage can just spell steal it, and you will gain so much damage out of it, right? Even though everything is getting kited, we're still just hard casting Flame Strikes, right? Since Flame Strikes still hitting really hard. Make sure that we never get hit by the frontal, which is also very important. And also by the flowers on the ground. Dark Lotus, it's called, right? You don't want to get hit by those because that hurts a lot. This is something I really misplayed. So I combusted the moment the shit was actually on me. And I had to move away from my Rune of Power, which is just a really big shame, right? And someone accidentally interrupted the Dash Embrace there, so that's less damage for us. But with Spiteful weeks, you need to be careful that whenever you combust and something is like about to die, right, that you're not too close to the minions that are gonna die, right? Since if a Spiteful spawns on top of you, the moment you're combusting, yeah, you're just basically screwed, right? Like you have to get out of that Rune of Power, otherwise you're just gonna die. So after this, we're doing the Spirit, and we usually have our healer click the urn. Like, this is a Night Fae only thing, by the way, so only people that have the Night Fae Covenant can actually do this urn. So we always want to use the urn for the enrage, for the rage part, since on Fortified weeks it hits like a truck, it's not funny. So that's why we always like, okay, we're just gonna use the urn on this one in order to just make it all go safe by. So we're switching over to Scorch, right? Everything is below, yeah, the thing is below 30%, so it's gonna switch to Scorches. I think I'm using all the time here. Yes, exactly. So I know I'm not going to be getting into the bubble, so I'm just using all the time to just negate that damage, right? So the moment it's almost done, I can just press it again, or whenever I'm getting in dangerous health, I can just press it again in order to just get full HP again. So all the time, really helpful to use during that Spirit, especially when he's raging, right? So you can just get full HP back. I'm using Combustion on this spec, since I know, okay, as you can see in my weak aura, right, we're getting Prideful after this, so I want to have my Combustion ready again after that Prideful. So that's why we're using it. Using, yeah, the Frost Nova, right, to snare everything up. This is something I forgot to mention at the dungeon at the beginning. We're taking the talents, right, that we're taking double Frost Novas, since it's really helpful for Spiteful, since you can use it. Yeah, you have 2 charges, right? So it's really going to help out to just snare those annoying Spitefuls that are around in the dungeon whenever something dies, right? Especially in the Arderworld area, it's going to be really helpful since there's a lot of minions there, which can leave behind Spiteful. And if you have double Frost Novas, yeah, you're just really going to help out your group. So I definitely recommend you to take that. And Otherwise, you're going to have an option of Ring of Frost and Frenetic Speed. And yeah, those aren't really that good for Spiteful, right? So I'll just recommend you to take the Frost Nova talent that you can leave 2 charges behind. So after this Prideful, we're killing these 2 Warlords. And after that, we're going to Hakar. That's we're doing this way, by the way, since we're using Bloodlust on Pool, right? On the very first spec. We want to make sure that we have Bloodlust again for Hakar. So that's why we're doing all this before even going there. Since we need to have that Bloodlust ready for whenever we're going to pull Hakar, actually. So that's why. And also because we have to run far here, right? Is the reason why we're also using Combustion on this. And what I said before, we want to use it after Prideful is over. I myself actually screwed up there. I accidentally used my Soul Igniter too late, right? So my entire Combustion was already gone with my Inferno Cascade stacks. So it didn't deal any increased damage. So that's kind of a shame. It's kind of yikes. So yeah, that's something I should definitely done better. That's something I definitely need to keep track of better. Because I actually noticed lately that I've been forgetting a lot about my Soul Igniter. So here again, it's in my face. Like, boom, dude, don't forget about me. So that's really good. Okay, so this area can be very nasty. You really need to make sure to land those interrupts, right? And those CCs. Since those devoted, if they don't get stunned or get killed before the cast is over, they're gonna be those snakes that you also have during Hakar, which do also pulsing AoE damage and also leave blood on the ground. So you definitely want to make sure that those never spawn, right? You always want to make them CC'd. So this is Spiteful me. So just rooting it. So we're doing a double pull here. This is also where we're going to combust. Yes, we are, luckily. All right, so the main things to really focus on to interrupt on this is the High Priest heal and the Hexer's healing wave. So those are very important. And as you can see right here, actually, right? You can Dragon Breath the Blade Storms. You can just Dragon Breath them. And usually Dragon Breath is almost up again the moment they spin again. So it's a really good tool to make sure that melee can still stand in melee, right? Since you can just Dragon Breath the Blade Storm and the cast is just getting interrupted. They don't even have to be spinning before you do it. Like as you can see, I'm kind of too late now, but we just Dragon Breath it to make sure that's interrupted, so they stop casting, so our DK can just stand still in melee. So now it's Healing Wave. We're making sure. I told the guys here, by the way, that I was mainly focusing on the Priest. Like, I was going to interrupt the heal on the Priest to make sure that none of the heals were going to go through. Here I said, okay, I can't, so the Warlock really good took over with her Mortal Coil. And yeah, now it got crept in again. And yeah, we're actually getting really lucky with that one, actually. I'm very amazed. So we have Dragon Breath in 2 seconds. And yeah, the Blade Storm is over now, so we're not really going to use it, I see. Yeah, myself now. Like, a lot of kiting is happening in this room back and forth, because the dot... You can kind of compare this room, if you played in Legion, right? That is kind of the same as the King's Rest area towards the 3rd boss. It's a very dangerous area where some abilities can just very hard one-shot you if something goes wrong. So, yeah. Never spell steal. This is a tip from me to you guys. Whenever these Deathwalkers die, they leave behind a spirit. I myself have been a victim of this multiple times at the beginning of the expansion. I don't want to... like, I myself actually just spell steal that buff away. What that buff basically is, right? Like, for 40 more seconds, the target is alive, but the moment the buff runs out, the target just dies. So it goes the same for if you spell steal it. So guess what happened to me multiple times? I spell steal it because I'm like, oh, I can spell steal this, so I spell steal it. And then after a few 10 seconds, I just die. And I'm like, what? How? Well, that's because of that debuff. So usually we have the tank, which is a Blood Elf, to just use their Dispel to get rid of it. And yeah, that's how we deal with it. So here's another pack with the Devoted. This is the one where we don't use the Urn on, since it's only 1 Hexer and 3 Devoted, right? So we're just making sure that, yeah, everything is getting stunned. You can also use your Dragon Breath to stun these guys. So that's probably what we're going to be using as well. Like, we're just going to Dragon Breath them. last second. And the reason why I'm not using my combustion here is because I really want to have it for the pack after, right? Since this pack isn't dangerous at all, so I know the pack after this is going to include a Hexer and a Priest again, so that pack is way more dangerous than this pack. So it is actually worth to hold onto your combustion a little bit in order to make sure that the dangerous pack dies way quicker, because one Hexer is just way easier to deal with than one Hexer, a High Priest, and two Deathwalkers, right? This is also the place where we're using the Urn on, so they cannot really be kited away out of your flame patches, so that's also really good. Like, as you can see, we're going to be using the Urn. No, not actually. The healer actually got hexed. In PvP, we can actually dispel the frog hex, right? But in PvE, it's apparently not a curse, so we couldn't really dispel it. So as you can see, we're just blasting all our cooldowns on it. Because after this, we're going to get Prideful. And we know if we get a Prideful now, that we're going to have all our cooldowns up and ready for the very next boss, Hakar. So as you can see, we still have like 2 minutes left on Bloodlust cooldown as well on the Sated debuff, right? But we still have a Prideful to kill, and we still need to do a few things in order to actually go to the boss fight. It's very important that you, even though everything is almost dead, it still keep interrupting, because one missed interrupt on the heal of the Hexer is kind of like a target getting full healed again. It's a lot of healing. It's actually a lot of healing. So I noticed that my Frost Nova charges are on cooldown quite a lot. Like, I could definitely use them better, but that might also be the case since we're runing with the Druid healer, right? So they can root really well as well, since he's also running Mass Root. Mass Entanglement, it's called, I think, or Mass Root, one of those. But you guys know what I mean, right? So just using Shifting Power here. I don't know really why. I think it's just so I can reset all my cooldowns even faster. Since I already know why. It got mentioned that no one had any cooldowns here, so it was maybe going to be a very scary Prideful. So that's the reason why I use Shifting Power, to just get some Fire Blast charges in there, to just help a little bit. It's not a lot, right? But it's just a little bit. A little bit of increasement in damage that can really help out. So now we're going to Hakar, right? What we're going to do here is just combust, Bloodlust, everything at the beginning, potion, ratio, everything that you have, and just blast the boss down as fast as you can. Especially during combustion, just focus the boss, since it's not worth it to DPS the ads during your combustion, since you're losing a lot of ignite damage on top of the boss. As you can see, I managed to get to 3.3k at some point. So the moment combustion is over, we need to start focusing on those Son of Hakars, since they actually do nasty damage, especially if there's more up with Blood Barrier. It's getting more and more damage. So I'm blinking away from that volcanic that you saw, right? I blinked away with Shimmer, so that's the reason why we're running Shimmer, right? Shimmer is just so amazing that you can blink while casting. So we're actually blasting this boss down so hard. But basically, what you need to do on this fight, make sure that those Son of Hakars die. Like, those ads, they need to die quick. And just really kill them. Especially on tyrannical weeks. Like, we kind of got lucky, right? Like, it's a fortified week, so fortified weeks is usually known as the more push key weeks. So since boss fights are just a lot easier and a lot less dangerous. But still, if you don't kill those Blood of Hakars during the fight itself, you're going to be getting a lot of AoE damage for your healer to deal with the Blood Barrier. So I will just really recommend, even though it didn't look like we were killing it, since we didn't really, but really focus on the Blood of Hakars. I got really lucky here. I thought for a second that I jumped off there, actually, by accident. So yeah, but we didn't, so that's all good. But yeah, as you can see, we're just backtracking right now, since now we're going to the Mechagong area. We're waiting with the Spirit for after, so we don't screw up our Prideful timing, since we want to have... Basically, the way how we do this dungeon is we always want to have a Prideful ready for every single boss that we're doing in this instance, except Muzala, the last one. Since we don't feel like it's necessary to use a Prideful on Muzala. And I myself, I remember this combustion, actually. It hurt my soul. I actually combusted too early here. I recommend you to just wait after the first Haywire and then use combustion. Since this mob itself is quite tanky, it has a lot of HP. So I want to combust it, but I just combusted at the very beginning. I should have just waited until the very first haywire happened, since I basically lost out on like 6 seconds of my combustion, which is a lot of your damage. Hey, it's not good if that happens. So you really need to make sure to time those haywires and making sure that you interrupt them whenever it's needed. Not interrupt them, but use your combustion at the correct timing when it's needed. So now we're going to kill the dog and the client. The reason why I'm combusting the haywire, by the way, over this set is because I want to use my combustion for the next pack, since it's very hard for melee to deal with that one. So if you're having melee, I recommend you to just wait with your combustion. Do not use it on this pack, right? On the dog and one client, but on the next pack, since they are spin to win, and melee can't really get that close to them, and it hurts a lot for the tank as well, compared to this trash pack. So right now I'm already talking like, yo, do we pull next? Do we pull next? Because I'm like, yeah, combustion is ready, right? So we want to go, go, go. But he was like, nah, we're killing the dog first, and after that we go. You can actually spell steal the buff above them, but it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really do anything. So we're making sure that we don't get hit by the spiteful here, and this is where we're going to be combusting. We're using our racial and everything, and there we go. And now we just blast AoE. And now they are going to spin soon, I guess. I hope. Yeah, they do. The thing is, you cannot Dragon Breath these, right? Like you saw me actually trying, because one of them were asking like, yo, can you Dragon Breath this? And I was like, nah, man, we went over this, we can't. So no, we cannot actually use Dragon Breath on this. So that's kind of a shame, right? Like, so we cannot interrupt really the spin up ability, like any other ability that we normally can use Dragon Breath on. So these Spitefuls we usually just root. So what I'm going to do here, just blink in Frost Nova these guys, since they're going to explode out of themselves anyway. And with Frost Nova, they are just going to be stuck there until the end, and then they explode. So you don't have to deal with for after the boss. So, and again, another drill right here. Making sure to line of sight the haywire in the, like this little tunnel, right? And what we usually do here, I just use Flame Strike if I can't reach it, right? Like, why not? It's just something, otherwise I'm just not DPSing at all. So I usually just use Flame Strike. If I cannot reach it, I use Flame Strike, right? But we usually pull a Lubricator with this as well. So we have something to DPS while we're hiding away. So as you can see, this is actually where I'm also going to be using Combustion. So I can spread my Ignite around. So that was my haywire, making sure that the lubricating ability is always interrupted. Since you can stun away the heal, but Dragon Breath doesn't work again. So that's something very important to keep in mind, right? You can stun the... You're able to stun the heal. Sorry, I couldn't get the name. You cannot interrupt the heal with Dragon Breath, but you can stun it. And something I actually didn't do, what I did do from the beginning, I forgot to use my Flame Strikes afterwards. I was just using Frost Novas for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, that's definitely something I can do for the next time. It's just the little thing that I really messed up about, that I didn't really do. I should have really used my Flame Strikes there, since we had downtime and it wasn't DPSing anything. Instead, I was just casting Frost Novas, and yeah, I don't know why. But yeah. Alright, so these lubricators are very annoying. I really need to make sure that everything is getting interrupted and stunned. Since, yeah, this hurts a lot, right? So make sure that the lubricator is interrupted. We're just looking out right now for ones that are not getting taken, right? Since we're on Discord, right? So we're in the Discord group. So we're calling out who's going to do when, what interrupt. And they were constantly able to do it without me. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to be holding on as a backup, since you really don't want to overlap it. And maybe this is actually something I kind of maybe forgot about, right? So you saw us disappearing the slimes. I'm pretty sure I clicked it on. I want to check it out. Yeah. Okay, so these slimes can be dismantled by clicking on this sludge manufacturing control, but you have to be in engineering for it, right? So since I'm in engineering, I can press this in order to make all of these slimes disappear. so you don't have any issues walking through them. After a while, they do come back again, so that's something that is helpful in this dungeon. It's something I didn't know of either myself at the beginning as well. So we're just quickly going back. Right, so now we're just finishing up the lubricator. As you can see, the slimes are spawning again. So we finished off the lubricators, frostnoving the spiteful, and just quickly repairing since it's up here as well. And this pack is actually very dangerous. So this is usually where I use my combustion. Like, I really recommend to do that. Since those oils, they keep casting it. But at the moment they don't, since, yeah, Vengeance Demon Hunter Sigil, the silence, which is really strong. But these oils really, really hurt. Especially if they go on all the 3 targets at the same time. Yeah, they might just die from it. So it's very important to just use your CCs, your interrupts, or whatever you have to kill them. Also, Dragon Breath does work on it. So I saw that one of the Spitefuls were following my healer during Prideful, so I was like just making sure that Spiteful was gonna die. So my healer would die, right? And if that would have happened, it was gonna be over. We would have been screwed, and we would have been like, yeah, we have to redo. So we just made sure that we killed that Spiteful without any issues. So the healer could actually get back here to heal us. So here we go again. Make sure that we dodge it. So we made our Warlock put a gateway in the area with the traps, right? Like with the push of oil. Since if you use a gateway, you cannot get pushed off. So we're just doing that so we can just save a couple of seconds. And yeah, by doing that, you just save a couple of seconds, right? Like, as you can see, making sure that I can click it. I can't click it constantly because, yeah, I don't know why. But we're using a gateway for that one, so we don't have to wait for the oils whenever that is up. So this boss is actually very interesting, since you never want to kill Millhouse before you're attacking Maleficent. Since you want to interrupt a certain ability, and you need Mana Storm to be alive in order to make that happen. So we're just combusting from the beginning, right? And we're making sure that we're standing in the way of those lines, since if it hits the boss, it's going to do AoE pulsing damage, so that's not good. This is something I found really weird. So I got the laser, right? Just want to show you guys, because this is also still something that I remember. So I got a laser as well, with 2 of those beams on me, right? So you can see I got 2 of those things and the laser. So my intention is like, okay, I'm just going to ice block this laser so I don't have to walk out of it, right? And I reset my stacks. I thought like, hey, this is a very good idea. But what happens when you ice block? The lines actually go through you. Like, come on. Why does it have to go through you? Like, my stacks do reset. But come on, man. So we went out of ice block too early, and because of that we got hit by the stun. And yeah, like, come on, just make it that we can just immune it and still get soaking. It's so stupid. So the boss faces away at 10% HP. So we're making sure that it doesn't go below 10%, right? In order to make sure that we still have it. So whenever it's actually casting Doom, you need to stun it. After that stun is over, he's going away. So basically, this part of the fight, only one thing can really wipe. Well, 2 things can wipe you. Missing these bombs that you can see walking right now, missing the bombs if you don't dismantle them, or the chicken rain, chicken bomb rain, which you can stun whenever you get this blue marker on top of you. You're gonna get a circle, and then you can stun Maleficent Mana Storm, right? And we're still using Bloodlust here, since we are not going to have a different timer for it to use it on. So as you can see, the Warlock currently has the debuff, making sure to stun the boss. I don't even think we're actually going to get the part where it's going to walk. Yeah, there it goes, the chicken barrage, right? Normally you want to make sure that you stun it with the circle that I just mentioned. And this is also something I learned. So first off, you want to stun the chicken barrage with the circle that you get during that fight. So this is actually something I didn't know about, is whenever you kill one of the bosses, their aggro apparently reset. So I'm just here vibing right in the middle. DP, and it's just getting slapped instantly. I got really lucky that I had cauterized there, but yeah, I would have died. Like, I didn't do its aggro did reset. So yeah, so I am already pre-moving to the vault where we have to go through, right? In order to just speed up a little bit of thing. Yeah, just basically doesn't really speed up, but in my mind it speed things up, right? So yeah. So here we go, just running back towards the start. Since now there's only one area left, which is going to be the Night Fae, well, other wheeled area, Night Fae area, right, basically. So there's just a little bit of trash ahead of us. So this spirit, right, is a very dangerous one. Since the other one we had an urn for. So on this one we don't. So this is also the pack where we're going to be using our combustion on. Even though it's on cooldown for like 15 more seconds, but that's not an issue. We're still going to go combust, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, since we're using shifting power here as well to reset all of the stacks. Now we're getting rage, so we're using alter time to negate some damage, making sure that we stand in the barrier, and now we're combusting as well. So, and rage is over, we're pressing alter time back again in order to get just instantly full health, so the healer doesn't have to waste any mana on us. And as you can see, both the Minia just dies the moment combustion is over. So that's actually really good. And the second one is always 50-50 whether it's going to become the rage or the masks. So it's very important to just nuke that ad down fast, right? Since I've seen it cast rage twice in a row. And yeah, that were not fun times. So yeah. Again, right, there's a pack here with the dead speaker. Make sure that the dead's embrace is not getting interrupted. And there's an urn here as well. So we're going to be using an urn here. So dead's embrace, we're spell stealing it into just using a shifting power into... I should have used more charges of Fire Blast here, actually, since I overcapped quite a bit on my Fire Blast, which is kind of bad. And I also noticed myself that I barely interrupt during any of those packs. Like, again, I'm more focusing on just getting the spell steal done. Like, as you can see, yeah. Like, I'm not really interrupting at all, I notice. I could have easily interrupted a few Lotuses, but I just don't. That's really bad, actually. That's something I really need to work on. Yeah, that's definitely something. The reason, by the way, guys, why I'm not using my combustion here is... yeah, I don't know why. I think I could have easily done that. Yeah, I could have probably done that here. Since we need to walk quite a bit, and then the tank needs to pull quite a bit as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could have just still combusted, and then right now I would have been on a 1 minute cooldown, and then this walking also goes in there. Yeah, I could have definitely used the combustion there. 100%. For sure that we can use the one. Since we're walking this way now as well, and then it's all slow. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that if we just saved our used our combustion for it, would have been awesome. Okay, so about this room, right? I myself am really bad at this room. I don't know why, but I just can't. So the very first part of it, nothing happens. The second part, whenever you see this glowing, don't move. Don't move. Just wait until it went, and then you move. So as you can see, I'm getting hit for half HP. Yeah. The hitbox are quite big. They're actually really big. So just take this part, chill, and don't rush it. Since 2 hits in a row is basically the instant death. And I have experienced that myself many times, actually. So I'm just so bad at it. Like, you can use Shimmer and your Soul Shape as well for it to make sure that you go through in time. So that definitely helps. And now just thinking back about it, I could have definitely used Combustion on that pack at the end. Then I would have probably had it like 10 seconds maybe into this pool, and that's also still fine. So this is where we just start blasting with AoE, right? Since that's what we do. And yeah, just like normal, right? Making sure that everything stays up. Making sure that the Infernal Cascade stays up as well. Since it still buffs the damage on the ground from Flame Patch, right? So this part is actually very scary, as you can see, right? Look at the amount of Spitefuls that are spawning right now. This is the reason why we're just running double Frost Nova snares as well. So we can just snare snare multiple times, right? Especially whenever something is getting into a pickle. Like, I kind of screwed up this Frost Nova. I should have used it earlier. But yeah, my Frost Nova timers can definitely be better for Spitefulls. That's definitely something I can already notice from this. So that's actually something I need to do to improve on, right? So there we have it, the Mind Bend. This is, again, it is a lot of minions, but they barely give any percentage, right? So this area can take, for my feeling, it usually takes quite a while, since there's so many minions that you need to kill. Since they either just only give 1% or they give 0.5%. So it just takes a while to be done with this part of the dungeon. And since there's so many smallies, it just feels like it goes on and on and on and on and on, right? It just keeps on going. So far, we've actually been doing very good. And I actually combusted here. Wait. I combusted here. Okay, so I think the reason why I combusted here is... No, I don't even know why. I should have waited with my combustion until the next pack, I think. Since the next pack is going to be the pack where we're going to be using the urn. That's usually the placement where you want to use the urn, right? So I use combustion here. Because I think I saw some ads being high HP and being like, okay, I can probably get it back before that pack. But I want to see how it's going to play out, because I actually don't remember what's going to happen. Just as you can see... Oh, that's why! We had Prideful. That's... How did I miss that? How did I miss that? Okay, the reason why I combusted is because we're having Prideful now, and we're going to get our combustion back again for the next part with the urn. Oh man, that's stupid. Okay, but there we go. We know that now. Okay, so yeah, the reason why you combusted there is because we're going to get Prideful. So we knew it was going to be fine, right? Alright, perfect. So we're just finishing off this Prideful. After that, we're going to do a big pull. Using Shifting Power to just making sure that all our cooldowns are back. I don't know if that was the correct play to do. Since Shifting Power deals a shit ton of AoE damage. And I know the next pack was going to do a lot of AoE. That it requires a lot of AoE. So let's actually see how this is going to play out. So we're going through. Like, here's an urn, right? Behind the pillar that you can use in order to stun all the ads. But we usually wait a little bit until the tank collected all of the ads that we wanted, right? And now we're just going to combust, I'm pretty sure. I think we're waiting a little bit. Yeah, now we're combusting. I combusted a little bit early, actually, since he was still pulling. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was going to pull more. And because of that, I'm actually getting clapped on by ads. And I'm very, very afraid of dying. So I did use Alter Time, which is good, right? Since I saw, okay, I got clapped. So I did use Alter Time. And I still think I should have waited with using my Shifting Power. I should have not used Shifting Power on the Prideful, because I didn't get it during this part, right? Like during combustion on this part, which would have dealt an insane amount of damage. So I think that's definitely something I need to keep in mind. Just make sure that to have legit every single thing available to you for this part, except Bloodlust, right? Since, yeah, it's just so many minions that you need to deal with. So it just takes so long. And having Shifting Power for that pack just means it's going to melt. It's really going to melt. But then again, also my combustion there wasn't very good, since I thought we were done with all the pulls, but we were going to pull one more pack. So I was already blasting when the tank was still gathering some mobs. And because of that, I got aggro, almost died, got cauterized proc, and basically inted myself pretty hard there, which is not a great idea to do in a dungeon, inting yourself. So actually, we just had our first death. The Warlock just died. But yeah, that pull was really, really, really messy, actually. So we're lucky that we didn't full wipe, to be fair. Since we had some accidental pulls coming through as well, which we didn't really want to get. So it is what it is, right? But hey, we didn't wipe. Everything is still going good. No issues whatsoever. So now we're just gonna focus on killing some of these ads, right? So we're gonna pull more. And this is also where we're going to be combusting. I'm pretty sure. Bust. Okay, I'm still not combusting. I'm really waiting for really long. Like, I did use my ratio already, but I heard him saying like, yo, one didn't get pulled right, so I wasn't using combustion until then. But my entire trinket and ratio already disappeared before I even pressed combustion, so I kind of missed out on a lot of damage that I could have gained. And I don't think missing that one ad would have mattered that much, right? Since I was going to miss out on my trinket gladiator's badge, which is almost, yeah, which is 193. Then also my orc issue, which is another 100-ish intellect. So it's almost 300 intellect that I just missed because I was waiting for one more mob to get in. So I think it was better to just use it, right? I should have used my combustion the moment I also just used my trinkets and my ratio to just do more damage for that part. So now we're just going to make sure to skip the right side. So we're just walking left. This part is also the part where we're going to be pulling everything. We're making sure to focus down the hatchling, because whenever it actually finishes the casts, it's going to get it's going to call a mama bird, which is basically just a bird that's really tanky and is also following you. Well, it's just going to come to you, and it's just unnecessary trash that we don't need to get, right? So it's just a waste of getting. So this is the place we're also going to be combusting, right? Since a lot of minions, very good timing, and we're going to get prideful after. So we're going to have it for the boss afterwards as well. So usually, basically, whenever I combust is always before a prideful is spawning, right? Since Fire Mage AoE damage is just ridiculous at the moment. It's really strong. The reasons why there are marks over here is because there's a stealth pack. So never walk close across this area, because there are stealthies over here. And as you can see, this weaker already indicates, okay, yo, bro, you have enough ads already for Prideful to spawn, so we don't need them. So we need to make sure that we dodge them, right? Since it's just going to be unnecessary trash that we don't need to kill. And it's just going to take longer otherwise. So just finishing off everything. And as you can see, quite some shades are spawning at the moment. Both are on me, so that's actually quite lucky. So we can just keep him there on one spot, and then I can probably Frost Nova again. I really need... Like, I'm taking this talent to use double Frost Novas, but I barely utilize it because I'm just an idiot and keep forgetting about it. So that's definitely something I can really improve on already looking at this dungeon so far. Like, I haven't really utilized it as much as I could, right? It's kind of a shame, kind of bad, not gonna lie. So after this, we have all our cooldowns ready again, as you can see. And yeah, we're going to be using combustion, everything that we have on this boss to just kill it as fast as possible. Since afterwards we're going to have Muzala. And yeah, that boss isn't scary at all so far. So yeah, as you can see, using our trinket. Trinket's already... I waited a little bit because I saw the portals landing, right? So I waited a little bit. So I am still having most of my uptime of my trinkets in my combustion, since those last for 15 seconds, right? But combustion lasts only for 12. So yeah, it's fine to wait a little bit if it's not the ideal placement where you want to stand, right? So we're gonna get the explosive soon, so we need to make sure that we go up. Usually I like to blink. I didn't blink. Usually whenever we go up, I like to blink to make sure to just negate fall damage. And also a thing that you can do on this fight is on the person that's getting really low, you can use slow fall in order to also make sure that they don't get any falling damage from it, right? So that's also something that you can do in order to help out this boss fight. But usually it should be fine. And as you can see, we're going up very late actually, like maybe also a little bit too late. So I really wanted to see if we can do it. So what you can do as well is already click this part before you get CC'd, right? Just very important, if you're a pet class, make sure to dismiss your pet, because as you can see right here, the Warlock pet actually pulls. The Warlock pet actually pulls the petrol, like that part, right? So we were calling out, dismiss pet, because we really... The amount of wipes that we had because of pets, it is a lot. By accidental pet pulls. And especially now, since we're so well on time, and we didn't do this one on an 18 in time yet, we really want to be like, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. Don't fuck up now, right? So, Muzala, it's very interesting, right? I myself always use combustion at pool, since I know for myself that I can have it back up again for the add part. Since the only places where I usually combust is the start and the add part, since the add just needs to die in one go, right? So just hard casting. There we go, using everything that I have, right? Combustion. Because I know Shadow Reality is basically 55 seconds, right? But whenever it spawns, you still have like 10 seconds downtime before the ad actually spawns, right? So that's why I'm combusting at the beginning. And okay, so now we just need to make sure that we dodge, right? So it's always left, right, or the frontal. So you just need to make sure that you never stand in the place where his arms are getting pulled behind, then smash. You don't want to be on that side. So just the reason why I'm combusting, right? Because I know I can have it back again for the ad, but if you're not sure, then just hold it for the ad part. It's way more important that the ad actually die during the Shadow Reality part than if it was going to stay alive. So as you can see, it's now the right side, so we need to make sure to be on the left side to not get hit by this. Still be very careful, since there can be a slight delay in these abilities. Like as you can see, Shadow Reality is happening now. 10 seconds left on combustion. Totally fine. As you can see, 5 seconds left. Now it's going to spawn. And then now I only have 3 seconds left for my combustion, right? So it's not nothing special. And since you can see, right, like it has 130k HP-ish. And yeah, it can, like you can see that I am wasting a little bit of combustion timing here. But if I didn't, I would have probably not been able to kill it in time, right? Since it's a lot of HP that you need to burn through. And without combustion, we don't really do any damage. And because we're so fast, we're actually going to go and help this other person out. I think if I didn't do that, we might have not been able to do it in time. Since you have 25 seconds or something to just make sure to kill it. And I think if I didn't go there, we would have probably not he would have probably not killed it in time. So yeah, that's why I mean, right? Like it's very important to hold your cooldowns. On Fortified, since this boss is basically not is so easy on Fortified, and barely anything goes on, right? So it's just very important to just do the boss fight correctly, make sure that everything dies, then really the boss damage. Since afterwards you're also getting the haste buff, like yes, you just saw, right? And now we're gonna get frontal, make sure to dodge it. As you can see, one of them actually got hit, but they didn't die, right? So, as you can see, this boss fight, even on an 18, doesn't even one-shot this. So it is kind of ridiculous on how easy this boss fight is on Fortified. Tyrannical, it's different. Tyrannical is different for sure. So there we go. And we actually got some boots as some transmog, so that's really nice. That's really nice to get. But yeah, that was actually my walkthrough on my approach on... yeah, my Fire Mage approach on the other side 18. There are definitely things that I learned from this dungeon. So I noticed myself that I, even though I'm taking the talent, Double Frost Nova, I need to use it more. I keep forgetting that I have the second charge because I'm not used to it, right? So that's definitely something I can definitely work on. Same thing goes for the packs with the Lotuses, right? The very first pack that we pull, and then the pack before... our car room area, and the pack before Ardewold area. Those Dark Lotuses, I can definitely help out with interrupting those, because I noticed that I just don't interrupt them at all. So whenever the spirit, right, is casting rage, very helpful to use all the time in order to just negate a lot of damage, to just get full healed up full instantly almost. And yeah, I think this run went quite fast. Well, not quite fast, I mean. Quite good. We only had 2 deaths, and we had quite some time left as well in the end. So that's really amazing. But yeah, guys, I really want to thank you guys so much for watching. And if you did learn or like something from this video, then please leave a like and subscribe. It will really help me out a lot. I also live stream on twitch.tv/ItzzDivinity. So if you have any questions, you can just, yeah, come in, tag around, see how it's going to go. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can always ask me there. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye-bye.